See, this is the beautiful thing about this is everybody understands seasons, even little kids. Your husband understands seasons. So if you explain this to him and you explain this to them, my experience has been that your family is more than willing to give you that time. They love that they can actually help out more. This is so beautiful because at any given day, you can know, okay, I am in this season, and you can know exactly what foods, what exercises, and what you can even do socially, with your friends and family. Hello, welcome to my channel. Glad you're joining me today. I want to give you a great tip if you're a woman today. And what I'm wanting to talk about is our infradian rhythm. Now, a lot of us women are thinking, what does that even mean? Well, everybody, men and women alike, have a circadian rhythm, which means it's a 24-hour cycle. Now, us as women have this really special thing called an infradian rhythm, which we know better as our menstrual cycle. Every 28 days, we know what's happening, it's coming, the time of the month, all that kind of stuff. Sadly, a lot of us look at that as a curse and not the true blessing that it is to reproduce, to give new life, and really how we can flow with that in our life. Even if you're not trying to get pregnant, even if you're past that. I mean, personally, I have 5 kids and we're done. They're still pretty young, and so I just came out of birthing 3 children in a 2-year period of time, and now we're moving on. And so even though I'm not thinking about pregnancy anymore, I still have that infradian rhythm going on for at least another 10, 20 years, right? So we need to know how to flow with that. So I want to give you a visual today, and I also want to give you a tool on how we can learn how to flow, because if we're honest, most women don't really know what's going on any given 28 day, what day are you on right now? I mean, unless you're in your menstrual part of that where you're bleeding, you may not know what phase you're in. As women, we cannot ignore the fact that every 28 days we're going through these 4 phases, and we have to plan accordingly. We have to know what that means so that we can really get the most out of every single day of our month. So let's jump into it. Let's say this is representing our life right here, kind of like a timeline of our life. The time is moving by, and this line right here represents our, let's say, happiness or contentness, really just an even keel, good mood, optimal type performance, and that kind of thing is right along this line right here. Now, if we're honest, all of us would say that we would like to flow along that line, not moving very far from it, because if you get down towards the bottom here, now there's things like sadness, depression, some anxiety, just gloominess, that kind of thing. And same as if you're going up here, now there's things like anger, frustration, tension, some rage that wants to build up. So if we're honest, we would really like to just see our time flow like this right here, where we're not getting too far above or below that line. We're kind of just coasting along just nicely on that, right? Well, now I want you to visualize that this paper represents every 28 days. I don't know if you can see it down here. I have numbered off 1 through 28. So now this represents, as a woman, our infradian rhythm every single month, every single 28 days, okay? And also, if we were honest, as women, this is kind of how we would see our month, right? I mean, can you relate? There's so many things that disrupt hormones these days. There's so many things that can really affect the balance of our mood. So we're seeing ourselves going up and down and up and down. We may be, hitting that middle line occasionally, but we're just kind of riding this roller coaster where we're angry and kind of frustrated and tense and all this stuff, and now we're down here and we're sad, and it's just kind of all over the board. So there's a couple of things that we can do. Now, most of the time, if you take this to the doctor, you say, I'm all over the place. I just feel like I am going on a roller coaster in my emotions, in how I feel in my body. Sadly, a lot of the times they will suggest a birth control or something, maybe even an antidepressant that is going to stop that. I know that certain birth controls really do. After my second was born, I got on an IUD, which is supposed to stop your period completely. Well, totally backfired on me and had the reverse effect to my horror. And so they will want to cover it up. They will want to try and stop that from happening. And so whether you're on a pill, having the IUD, or an antidepressant, none of those are good options for knowing how to balance these up and downs of life. That is just a cover. That is not getting to the root of the issue. And that is only making matters worse, because what they don't like to tell you, or what they really are not trained to tell you, is the kind of imbalances those are having when you take them. The detriment to your hormones that birth control is causing. And sadly, later on in life, you're going to really pay for that. It might give you some relief right now, but think about your future. Think about who you want to be and the problems that could arise down the road because of how haywire the hormones are with that medicine in your body, okay? Another thing you can do is you can just try to let me get this here. One of these days I will get a whiteboard and we'll have that. But you might just try and push your way through, right? That's what the culture tells us. And so it's really a male-driven society and culture that we live in. There's this pressure that, like, okay, come on, why are you going up and down? Why can't you just stay the same every day? You go to your job, you go to school, you go these places, and you are supposed to perform the same way. And so you can push yourself through that, trying to willpower your way into just a straight, I'm happy. But if you were really true to yourself, you would say, you know what, this isn't working, because it's still, that rhythm is still going on. And what's going to happen is you're still going to get pulled in those directions, and it's going to make the problem worse. You are going to be drastically spiking up and down because you're not flowing with that rhythm once again. Also, not a great option to just try and push your way through, try to make yourself be, having a good mood, having some good energy, when that's just really not happening. So there is another way that we can look at this. And how I like to look at this is that every 28 days, our body goes through all 4 seasons. If you can think of it like a year's worth of time, every single 28 days, you are going through winter, spring, summer, and fall. And when you know this, and when you can really grab a hold of it and you can learn what those seasons mean, then you can be riding those waves with confidence, and you can be doing things to really optimize that, because there are going to be ups and downs. Let me put this down for a minute and just say, life is not like this. If you think about a person in the hospital that's hooked up to a monitor and you hear their heartbeat, it is going beep, 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 and you're seeing that rise and fall, rise and fall, rise and fall, right? Well, if they were to just go beep, that means they're dead. And so life is not meant to have this just deadness to it. There has to be the goods in our life, absolutely, but there also is going to be times where there is bad. And that's important, because how are you going to truly know what is a good if you never have any bads? How are you going to have light in your life if there's never any darkness? You wouldn't even know the good that is coming from light if there were no such thing as darkness, right? There is always two sides of a coin. There is never such a thing as a one-sided piece of bread. There is always two sides of things. And so you will have highs and you will have lows. So honestly, just accepting that at the beginning of this will help you so much. Just coming to terms with the fact that you are going to rise and fall. You know, there are going to be times when you experience a little bit more sadness. There are going to be times that you may be a little bit hot, a little more angry and frustrated. But when you're equipped with this knowledge and you know what day it is in your cycle and you know how to ride these, that is when you are going to have contentment and joy and happiness no matter what day it is, no matter what season you're in. So let me just kind of briefly go through this. The beginning of the 28 days is our menstrual phase. That is when we are bleeding. Now, that is the coldest time. That's when our body temperature is at its lowest. That's when our energy level is at its lowest. All the hormones are low. It's like our body is dormant. And we're not dead. We're just like the trees. We don't go dead during the winter, but we do lay dormant. And so that is a time that is good to focus on rest. It's really important to lay low. Follow that natural dip in the wave of life that you're riding, and know that it's good to take some time to yourself. So then as your days are going along, you're perking up and you're getting to springtime. Now, spring is some of the best time. You know, it's the season of planting seeds. It's the season where the new life springs up. The color starts to come forth on the earth, right? And so there's going to be some really good days of good productivity and you're flowing along pretty even. Well, then you're going to have a spike and you're going to go into summer, and this is around ovulation time. So you can notice that it's about halfway through the cycle, around day 14, somewhere around there. You're going to have a spike and go up to summertime. Your body's at the hottest point. You also are going to experience your mood at the hottest point. You're going to feel almost a little bit tense and high strung, and almost like there's this excess energy that has to come out, really almost like you need a punching bag or something. Just knowing that that's coming can help you to do things to cool yourself down, to relax, you know, take some time to yourself to just kind of cool down. And then we're going down into fall. Now, there's this little dip right here. This is based off of my own cycle. And I've noticed there's a little dip right here. If I'm not aware of it, I can think, oh, what is wrong with me? I'm so tired, I'm moody. But yet it's not the time of the month yet. What's going on? So, you know, just being aware of that, then you can make adjustments in your schedule, in your commitments, and the different things that you take on because you know it's coming. But most of the time, fall is a great time to get it done, to work hard. The seeds you're planting in spring are now, you know, it's now harvest time. And so that is a great time to really optimize the, you know, get it done and get the hard work accomplished. And then, of course, right here, this is all the point where us as women can have the most struggle, is that we're going down. This would be the PMS time, and we're heading towards winter. You know, that is not a thing to dread. That is just something to be prepared for. Just like a bird goes through migration, right? Lots of animals go through like a migratory period, or like a preparation for hibernation. You know, it's basically like you're moving towards getting ready for those colder times. You are traveling to warmer weather so that you can be ready for the severity of winter. You know, the same is true with that PMS time. I think a lot of women really struggle with that just because they're not prepared. Just because the whole rest of their month and all of their seasons has looked really crazy. It's looked like like this. And so they're not going to be ready. When they start to fall here, it's going to be a drastic fall because every phase plays into the next phase. It's a beautiful building block. It's like a house being constructed, right? You have to lay the foundation and then you have to frame the things in. And, there's a process that you have to go through, and one step leads to the next and leads to the next. Same with every 28 days as a woman. We are building something every single month. God designed our body to be able to create new life, with the seed. Should it be planted, then a whole person grows in us. And so he's made us and designed us to have these ups and downs and this flow, and it should be something that we now cherish. So let me give you a few tips on how you can flow with this. First of all, I want to say, just get a paper like this and start tracking it down. Right? 1 to 28 on the bottom, draw your line across the middle, and take, I would say, probably 3 months. That'd be good. Don't change anything about your life those first couple months, because you want to gain the data and the knowledge of what's actually going on in your life. And so what you're going to want to do for those first 3 months is just track. Just be like, start at your menstrual cycle and be like, okay, I'm definitely low. It'd be better to even make some notes. But even if you don't have a lot of time to say write anything down, this is so easy. Just write a little line on, where am I at? Was I about middle ground? Did I feel a lot more sad right now? And then just each day add a little bit to that line. Okay, I felt pretty even. This was a good, springtime. And then when you hit ovulation, did you notice a spike? Did you notice your anger, your tension, that high-strung feeling coming out more? Like, just do this. Did you notice, like me, okay, I have a dip right here and I'm not exactly sure why, but now I can be prepared for it because now I see it. So this is just a great visual and a really simple tracker to be able to, after a couple months, compare the data and see, all right, am I up here? Am I down here? Maybe you're really down right here and you're thinking, okay, this is spring. What's causing me to be so down? Then you can actually see some imbalances here and take action. The hardest points of any 28 days, there's 2 hardest points in my opinion. It's the menstrual cycle and that leading into the menstrual cycle, right? That PMS. And it's also this spike at ovulation. And if you think about it, that goes along with the seasons. The winters are the most intense, as well as the summers. That's when you get the most drastic temperatures, either cold or hot. So what you can do is, I have found that in my winter season, once again, that's in menstruation when I'm bleeding, is that I like to think about eating warmer foods. This is a good time to add in those complex carbs and the things that your body will burn for energy and things to really support your energy and stuff like that. Also, when it comes to exercise, this is a good time to really lay low. That is when I focus majority on my stretches. I have actually some good workouts that are specifically related to menstrual cycle stretching. And on a social note, that's also a great time to plan time for yourself. This is not when you're going out and doing a bunch of stuff with other people. Your mood is really more introspective. You're kind of going in, there's deep reflection time. So it's great to just get alone more during those times, if possible. I know that's not always possible, but if you're aware of it, you can say no to certain things, certain invites for social gatherings and whatever. You can tell your family, hey, mom's in winter and I need to lay low. See, this is the beautiful thing about this, is everybody understands seasons, even little kids, even 4, 5, 6-year-olds, they understand seasons. Your husband understands seasons. So if you explain this to him and you explain this to them and say, listen, this is what mom's going through every single month, and I'm right here right now, and I need to lay low. My experience has been that your family is more than willing to give you that time. They love that they can actually help out more. My older daughters feel like they are more productive around the house. They're more valuable because they get to kind of step into some of my role, and they love that. They love doing that for me. Same when you're in summer. It's like, listen, I need to cool down right now. Maybe you just need to step out of the environment and cool down. Once again, when it comes to foods, your diet, this is when you're going to want to eat really fresh and raw. You're going to want to hydrate, like just keep yourself cool. You're not focused on the warmer foods because that's elevating your body temperature. That's, your body's having to work harder to digest, and you really don't need as many calories when your body's working overtime in the summer, in the heat of it. You're producing so much energy, and so that's a good tip to have. Likewise, if you're thinking about exercise during that summer period, that's when you really want to focus on those high intensity workouts, whether it be cardio, whether it be just a real good HIIT workout or strength training or something like that, that just gets you sweaty and burning, because that is going to burn off that excess energy and that excess estrogen and all that stuff that is rising at that time. So as you can see, I'm not going to go into all of the seasons and what to do, but as you can see, this is so beautiful because at any given day, you can know, okay, I am in this season, and you can know exactly what foods, what exercises, and what you can even do socially, with your friends and family. You know what to expect when it comes to your moods. And so this is just an incredible tool to have. So my hope for you is that this has blessed your life, that this has given you a tool to use, that this will be such a good starting point for you to be able to ride those ups and downs and optimize your life, your energy, your mood, and just your overall well-being as a woman. Be blessed today.